Bobbie, watu wanateta.
Julia?
Vitu zako zenye unasema. You kept telling me that there is a difference between broke men and whatever. And what else?
A broke man and... Okay, not that there's a difference. It's just that when we're talking about broke men, the men get really offended. When in real sense, women get broke too, but it's not tied to our whole personality. Like, I could be broke and you wouldn't really know. Because I still show up the same, I treat people well, I'm kind. But when men don't have money, even momentarily, they really turn to the society and they want to beat everyone up and be angry and be mad and be horrible people and treat you really badly.
Because the society treats them badly when they don't have money.
The society treats everyone badly when you don't have money. And okay, I can't compare, of course. I can't say women receive the same treatment when they're broke because it's probably easier on us. But that's life. Like there's times even the same way a broke man is not treated nice by society is the same way a woman who's not conventionally attractive is treated by the society. But do you see these women going out to cause havoc? Because they're not treated nicely by the society because they're not conventionally beautiful?
No?
No. They just go where they're wanted and where they're loved. They don't.
You think broke men should go where they're loved?
Yeah. To their moms.
Oh my God.
Listen, the world is not fair. Not everything is fair. Nasiko ubaya. Lakini, you just work on what you can work on. Listen, even me, I've talked about how I wasn't... Kwanza kuna wale watu wananiita ugly kwa comments. Mimi waongo, you're lying. I've not always been like the standard, hiyo lip gloss yangu imeisha.
Imeisha? I thought there was a way of removing it.
Listen, nikufinie vizuri. You know, I've not always like been a standard of beauty. But I just started working on my attractiveness because I know it's social currency. Because I know if I look good, if I feel good, if I smell good, if I show up looking confident, people treat me better. It's just the laws of life. If you can tweak something, you tweak it. If you can fix something, you fix it.
If you can fix your pocket, fix it.
Yeah. Do you see me here complaining, I don't have money, I can't, no, I just go out and make the money and I do what I can. And if I feel ugly, I make myself look pretty. So, ni life, please. Tusianze kusumbuana. So, shida yangu haikuangi ati broke guys hawana pesa. Shida yangu inakuanga broke guys treat people badly. Have you ever hung out with the... And then they try to say ati rich men are bad. Please. Have you ever hung out with a rich man who's confident and loves himself? Such a beautiful sight. Like my boyfriend. Shout out to you, baby.
Who's your boyfriend?
You've met him.
Oh my God. I almost said something.
Chunga. Usiniingishe kwa shida. Lakini yes. Saizi sasa siko single anymore sasa ya kweli. Hata nimeacha jokes za tabia mbaya.
Push the mic close to you.
I'm focusing on being a better woman.
Hey.
I'm changing for my relationship.
You're getting married?
Yes. What is there any other point of being in a relationship if it's not like heading towards marriage? I think that's a big part of it, like dating to marry. That's the reason we're dating, right?
Some people disagree these days. Some people say that no, we must not get married if you're dating. We could just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
We could just feel good about ourselves, but we don't need to get married. We don't need to what is the word, conform to the so-called society. But you want to get married?
I do. I actually do.
Do you want to get you want to have children? Oh, you don't want to talk about that online.
I mean, there's a time we were recording and we talked about this before, and I said, I mean, your life was... Me personally, I am child-free. I do not have kids and I do not want kids. It's never come across to me to want to have children. But I always left the leeway and the space for life because I do know life happens. And I'm not saying I want to get a kid tomorrow, but I'm saying I know how life happens. There's a possibility someone could come into my life and completely change my mind because because my reasons for not wanting a kid are more economical, mental, like am I going to be in a space where I feel supported enough? Because squeezy hakuna society ya unajua si tuligrow pali ungeachwa kwa shosho yako, ungeachwa kwa neighbor, ungeachwa squeezy society haitaki kids hivyo, hai support kids, I support the availability and presence of children. So I always said if I can create a community for myself that gives me the support to be able to do it, I would love to. But anything less than that, and I'm talking no ring, no marriage, no family support, no healthy environment, I'm not doing it. But under the right circumstances where I've planned properly, then yes. I will do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to be very sure that you're in a very good space to have children.
Yes.
The supportive structure should be very, very good.
And that's why, because I always talk about how having kids should be a very intentional decision. So many people are in oops situations where, you're having sex and then you think you'll get a washing machine at the end of 9 months, 10 months. But that's not it. A child is actually a possibility. Whether you're having sex for fun, when umesema kuna watu wako in relationships just to enjoy each other's company. People don't think about like the consequences of sex. I mean, there's so many good things that can happen, but if there's no commitment, if there's no father and mother in the house, and listen, I understand there's some things that are beyond control. You could lose your partner to even, see lazima tam break up, you could lose them to death.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But for what it's worth, I want to be very intentional about bringing my kid on this earth. I want them to feel very wanted, very loved, very appreciated and supported. And not just by their mom. Like I want a present daddy in the home. I want all that because that's not something I had. And I know how it actively... You've seen the comments in the daddy issues episode, yeah? People are getting mad at me because I didn't have a father. But they're not getting mad that...
Are they really mad at you because you didn't have a father?
I mean, some of the comments are ridiculing me because of the issues I have, because of the lack of a present father in the home. When, in real sense, you guys should be angry at my dad for not being there. Not me.
They are also angry for calling 50-year-olds old.
Old. Okay, I take that back. I don't entirely believe a 50-year-old is old, but the guy was 60, pushing 60. That's a bit old, yeah? That's near 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, habari zenu, today we are going to be discussing premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is something that women go through. And I didn't know about, I have heard about it before this, but until it happened to me last month, vitu zingine huwezi discuss kama hauna experience because, going through it puts you at a better position to be able to talk about it. So today that's what I want to talk about. But before I tell you about what premenstrual dysphoric disorder is, Jagger, what do you know about periods? What have you heard about periods? What do you think periods are?
They come every month. Between, I think, for some women it can take as short as 24 hours. For some it can go up to 7 days or even more. I know about the cramps. Yeah. I know about the pain that comes with them. I know that some women bleed too much, some just a little. What else do I know about? I know that some women want to have sex during periods.
Like me.
Really?
Yeah, I did that this week. Should I talk more about it? No, let's go back.
Let's talk about it.
Period sex.
You had period sex this week?
Yes, I did. Period sex is actually a big deal because of, the spiritual implication behind it. But beyond that, it takes a lot of comfort and trust and raw emotions and love, because I do believe that it has significant, good effects, because it helps. This is personal. I don't know about scientific research, but what I've realized for myself, what it does is that it eases the cramps, because during sex, you release feel-good hormones, oxytocin, and it heals the pain. So immediately I did it, the pain went away, first of all. And then what else? Yeah, it's good for pain relief.
Do you tell the man that, I'm in my periods, if you want to go ahead?
I did. I mean, it's me who pushed for the sex, actually. He was comfortable just chilling. But I think there's something about your hormones around that time also. You just get really, really, really horny. Not for everyone. Let me speak for myself. And he was there, and I was unable to contain myself. So, nikarukia hiyo kitu. Babe, can I please? I say, yeah, babe.
See it.
Yeah. It's good. It's a very personal decision. I wouldn't tell people to do it. I mean, it takes a lot of trust and comfort and you being comfortable with that person. And it's also not something I do with just anybody. So that's someone I trust, someone I actually really like. So yeah, that happens. Our hormones are consistently raging. And do you know about the process of how periods happen? Like about the graphic of it, like the design of it, or do you just know about what you... let me ask you first before that. How did you know about periods? Where did you get all the education you know about it?
A little bit from reading books, reading blog posts, a little bit of it from my wife. Yeah. So the way period works is that every month the body sort of, a woman wants to ovulate and wants to
make a baby.
To become pregnant, right?
Yeah, so your body...
Yeah.
So this, the female cycle takes about 28 days. That's like a month. And throughout these, every week something different is happening, but it's all towards the preparation of your body receiving semen so that it can create a baby. So what happens is ovulation is the releasing of the egg. The egg comes from the ovaries and then it goes and attaches in the womb, which is the uterus, waiting for it doesn't attach. It's released. And then it's waiting for the sperm zikujezi patane.
In a wait for sperms at which roundabout?
All the way from the fallopian tube.
The fallopian tube that looks like Jesus on the cross.
So ina swim tu. Na pia sperm ina swim. Zinaenda kufuatana.
Yeah, zinapatana wapi huko?
Zinaweza patana kwa fallopian tube or anywhere in the uterus, in the womb.
Okay.
Yeah. So zikishapatana zina fertilize. Alafu zikifertilize zina attach kwa wall ya uterus.
Yeah.
So
which is pregnancy.
Now that's where the conception begins. But if there is no sperm, the egg is still released and it comes out. And because the body realizes that there's no fertilization happening, so this easy weeks zote towards your period, your body has been preparing itself towards getting pregnant. And part of that means your uterine wall, thickening and being strong enough for it to accommodate that fertilized egg that's going to attach itself. But sasa kama hakuna fertilization,
is that the food for what is forming, for lack of a better word? Is it the food for it, or what is it?
Let's just say it's home, like its whole environment forming. Yeah. So it's how it's going to get food, everything, nutrients, everything. So it's just its home. If there's no fertilization occurring, the eggs, that home starts to crumble, like it starts to tear and break and disintegrate. And so your period is basically the ripping of your uterine wall. And is it the endometrium? The uterine wall ripping apart and disintegrating, and then that's what comes out.
Everything that was preparing to receive the fertilized egg.
Yes.
It's saying, okay, nothing happened.
Yeah.
We try another month.
Time to leave. So it breaks down and it comes out as blood. And I think people who do not have a womb, maybe they do not know the experience. So let me just explain a bit more. This blood doesn't pour kama maji ya mfereji ati shh from your body. It comes out in drips, in clots, something that looks like nyama nyama. And it's bloody, or, you know, just...
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using pay bill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming.
Blood,
Yuck.
like, it's yuck if you're icky about blood, but if you don't... Okay, kama mimi sisema ni yuck, juu sasa nimezoea ni mwili yangu ni vitu zangu. But that's what it looks like, and that's how it comes. So the cramps you're feeling, the pain you're feeling is your uterine wall disintegrating and breaking. That's the pain, and it's huku kwa lower back and kwa lower tummy. But beyond these symptoms, kuna kitu inaitwa PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Post ama pre? Sorry, I forget. So post-menstrual syndrome. So PMS ni hizi symptoms zote. When you're going through this, kumbuka kuna hormonal changes happening in your body. You have, you know, sometimes heat flashes, it can affect your anxiety. Sometimes you're moody, your mood swings are switching, you become irritable, aggressive, sad, very emotional, angry. It's just a whole range of emotions. And different people have it different ways, because for me, the longest time how I experienced my period, even everyone around me knows that's the best time to ask me for anything, because I'm usually very kind. I'm way sweeter, I'm nice, I'm friendlier, I'm very generous. I don't know why, but I used to have a really easy time. Until last month, when I started sinking into something that I had never gone through before. And this is what we want to talk about today. So this is the premenstrual dysphoric PMS is post, but PMDD is pre. So premenstrual dysphoric disorder. This is a disorder that has a huge range of symptoms that range from depression, anxiety, chronic sadness. Like, it's bad. Kuna hiyo normal zenye si you go through every month. Alafu PMDD is like the hell of it. I had heard about it, but I had never really experienced it, so I was never able to talk about it. And what happened was, I was fine. For most of the part, I feel like I'm a happy girl and my life is really nice and I'm consistently happy. But all of a sudden, I just started feeling myself sink into depression. Normally, I have a very cutthroat, how do I say, routine. I work out, I eat right, I make time for my friends, I have hobbies, I make time for work, I make time for rest, I make time for everything I need to do. But during this specific week, I realized I did not show up for my workouts. I started ignoring phone calls, ignoring people. I didn't want to be anywhere. I was stuck in my bed. And I felt a huge sense of sadness that I could not explain. Because I wasn't sad. Everything in my life was okay. I was happy. My money is good. My love life is good. Everything is good. I was just feeling good. So I couldn't really pinpoint where the sadness was coming from. And it was such deep sadness. That's why the reason I was able to notice that I was getting depressed was because of my routine. Because Mimi, whatever is happening, I keep my word to myself, and I'm very strict and disciplined about the things I do. So I started canceling meetings. My mom paka kanipigia and ananiuliza, I haven't heard from you. Is anything okay? So when I started noticing that people around me are concerned, meaning they're also noticing something is wrong, that's when I spoke up to a few friends and I started telling them, this is how I feel. Nimeshindwa kutoka kwa kitanda. Hiyo wiki sikuoga the whole week. I didn't shower for like 5 days. I was unable to shower. I was unable to brush my teeth. I was unable to leave my bed. And I couldn't explain. As in me feeling, you have to go through it. If you've been depressed, you know what I mean. It's not something you can explain to someone who's never been through it. But I was able to tell something was wrong because I'm not normally like this.
So it is tied to periods.
It is tied to periods.
Before it happens, during ovulation, when?
Before it happens, right before it happens. So that week before you get your period, you start to receive these symptoms. And the symptoms largely, to me personally, were coming during my period. That's when I get the cramps, the sadness, the whatever, all those emotions. But this was happening a week even before I was seeing my period. So that's also like something that told me something is wrong. Because I'm not on my period, I'm not sad, I'm not broke, I'm not going through grief, I'm not going through anything bad. Everything in my life is perfect, but I'm very, very depressed. It's come from nowhere. The reason I found out what it even was because I talked to a lot of people. I told all my friends, this is what I'm feeling. And all the suggestions and opinions were, read on PMDD, get more information on this. And when I went and did my research, I was like, because the day my period came like this, the depression went away.
Really?
Immediately.
So scientifically, biologically, what is happening that is bringing out all this?
So,
do you know?
Yes, it's just the emotions, the hormones that are being produced by your body, the whole process that your body is going through, your body handles it differently. And it's more of a chemical reaction than it is an emotional one. That's why it was beyond my control. Because in that point, you can't even tell someone, go out for a walk, or I don't know, call your friends and talk to them and open up. It wasn't helping, like nothing was being a solution. So that's how I knew it was beyond me. There was nothing I could do to fix it other than, ride it out. And then I reached out to, someone suggested a doctor. She's called Dr. Vundi on Instagram. She specializes actually in this. She talks about PMDD and post-menstrual stuff. And the more I was taking in her information, though it started to make sense. Oh, so this is something nilikuwa naitupilia mbali. You know the comments people make about periods, like things people say, iyo ni umama, unanyesha tu, si ndio ndo maana uko moody. And I realized such comments are really holding us back.
Can we actually talk about that?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the ananyesha.
Comments largely said, now that I understand PMDD.
So what exactly, a lot of people, especially, women call them women haters, is that the reason why they don't want to vote a woman president is because of the reason that we do not know what she will do when she's on her periods. All right?
Giving us positions.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
of that. So, what is the reality about the things that you can do when you're on your periods? Are you able to bomb a country if you're on your periods? Yani uamke tu kama umejam. you're having cramps, you're having all these things going on in your. But let me bring it a bit home.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Let's just simplify it. How do you deal with your day-to-day life and decisions that you have to make and your interactions when you are on your periods? How different is it?
Let me speak of two scenarios, because right now I feel like I'm very privileged and I can speak from a side of I know how to handle all these things. But let me talk about when maybe I had no money and I couldn't afford even things like, not really I couldn't afford, but let me talk about the two different scenarios. So when I was struggling in matatus and
Hey, they were so pissed off that you talk so badly about matatus.
Let me tell you, it's different. Being on your period and using a matatu and being on your period and using
Tell me
a
about
car,
it.
it's different.
Tell me about it.
Chakero, as a grown woman, I still soil my clothes sometimes. It's a very natural thing to happen. It does happen. So if you're listening, don't say, oh, it happens to all of us. It happens to everyone. When you're on your period, first of all, let me just give when you're the nicer side, you know, when the cramps are not too bad, when you can handle it, you still consistently have the anxiety of the blood might overflow. And the flow is different, like your body. I always say, me and the girls are always saying, my friends are always saying, it doesn't matter how many years we've had our period, it still shocks us. Every month we're still shocked. Because this month, you can be happy, go lucky, it lasts 2 days, you feel good, you feel great about yourself. The next month, you're actually struggling for your life. You're thinking of, you see, some of the symptoms of PMDD are like suicide ideation. You actually feel like killing yourself. You want to die. You're very depressed and you can't pinpoint where is this depression coming from. And when now imagine you're going through PMDD and you can't afford pads, first of all, because of period poverty. You can't afford even medication that could help you with the symptoms of PMDD or with the pain that you're feeling, your cramps. You can't afford your cravings because the cravings are crazy. Najua watu tuchongoa ati nini, but it's actually serious. If I want chips and sausage, that's all I'm going to think about until I get it. And if I don't get it, you feel yourself going crazy because that's something your body is demanding. It's something your body needs and wants. So before, when I didn't have privilege, it was a bit difficult because even things like, let's say you're using a matatu and it's going to be a 2-hour drive. And you know very well in 1 hour pad yako ishaanza kuja na kuleak. So you have to think about getting to a toilet. Maybe nimetoka Koma nenda tao. Getting to a toilet in town. Hakuna clean toilets town. Hakuna place yenye unaweza enda. This is raw blood that you're handling. This is a very delicate area. Huwezi ingia hizo choo za kanjo kufanya hizo vitu. Kuchange pad, kushika kitu. You could get a serious infection. So now you're thinking, what do I do? Where do I go? Maybe the cleanest toilet you have to go to, you have to pay. You have to pay like much more than you would hizo choo za kanjo. Saizo the whole time umetoka kwa nyumba na anxiety, unashinda. You saw me last week when I was here. Every time I stand up, you know, we do this trick where you touch yourself. Like, it's to feel if your dress might have soaked, because that happens a lot more times than it happens so often. I can't tell you the number of times I've sat in a matatu for just a 40-minute drive. Na pad yangu imejaa na nikaifeel kwa trouser. Sasa unaogopa ukisimama kila mtu ataona umemess. You have to make sure you have tissue and wet wipes so you can wipe. You're even scared of sitting on a seat that might show blood. So that's, and now speaking from this other side where I think I can afford my pads, I can afford.
So if you got into an office and all the chair that is right there is a cushioned white chair.
Get anxious. You get very anxious.
Really?
Very anxious. This is the whole time. You think about where to sit, where to stand, who's going to be in the room, how are they going to react if something happens. Sometimes it drips down your leg.
Really?
Yes. And I'm telling you, this happens to all of us, not just people who don't have pads and people who have pads. It's a very normal thing. So when we're going through all this, it's not just the physical part, it's also the emotional and psychological anxiety that we receive. That's why it's so important to have, support. You asked me, how do I handle my day-to-day when I'm on my period? It's literally a thing. You have to tell everyone around you. I always make sure I tell everyone around me. That means even you, the people I work with, so that they can know Robertta might be a bit sensitive.
I think you're the first person that have told me that that has no shame in telling me that I'm on my period.
Really?
No, there is no any other woman that has told me that, except my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, even talking about it is an issue. But me, I've learned to speak about it, and I bring the conversation so that it's normal amongst us. So that you understand when Bobbie is on her period, just be a little bit, patient, be nicer to her. Don't make a comment that will make her feel like this, or because you're very sensitive, you're very self-conscious. You need people to be very supportive and caring. So I always make sure everyone around me knows. I tell my mom, I tell my friends, I tell my colleagues, I tell everyone I'm around, just so they know. In case I snap, we're still able to have the conversation later, and I can explain to you why I was irritable.
But what I was asking you though is,
yes,
in terms of, imagine yourself the CEO of a company, and you've got several people that you have to speak with. You have decisions that you have to make. You got to go to boardrooms and so on and so forth.
Yes. That's a very valid question.
Is it different when you are on your periods?
It is different, but because this has been our life, I find women being able to manage it. I find women still, but the two mesema, not many women tell you they're on their period, but you still see us showing up like nothing is different, right? Unless she tells you for sure. Sometimes you wouldn't know, because we could be going through pain, but because it's something we've been through so many years, we just still show up. So for women who especially are going through, all these symptoms that are very crazy, I say talk about it. Make sure the people around you know. Even if you're a CEO, maybe I go to important meetings with important people and I make sure they know. You might say it's TMI or it's
What is TMI?
Like too much information. You might think it's, I didn't need to know that. But how do we coexist in this society when we can't have such discussions that, help you treat me better, help you give me the support I need? Because as a CEO of Love and Orgasms, when I'm having issues and I need to discuss, maybe say if I had stuff, it helps them understand me better when I tell them, hey, this is what I'm going through during this time. So this is in my last office where we used to work, people were open about it and we used to talk about it. And what used to happen is we cover for each other. Ikifika unaona yenyewe Robertta amelemewa, you're not going to start pestering me about deadlines, what. Automatically we just cover for each other and make sure Roberta's work is not missing because she's going through it this week. Because I promise, sometimes it's really heavy. It's really, really heavy. Not just the pain. And that's why easy comments za ni umama machana na yako mudi juu ananyesha. Now I understand why they're so harmful, because we kind of belittle the things that women go through. And just because you don't understand or because you don't go through the same thing doesn't mean that it's less. Me personally, I have crazy respect for women who go through I went through it once. It's not happened to me this month. This month I've had it fairly easy and I've been very happy. And it lasted like 2-3 days ikaisha na nilidinywa nasikia poa. Lakini some people really go through hell every month, the whole year. They deserve our support. They deserve the grace and the kindness. Because like I said, I promise you, the day my period came like this, the symptoms cleared. I woke up, I cleaned my house, I showered, I cooked, I brushed my teeth, and I scheduled all my meetings again because I was back to myself. And being able to see that, I'm glad I have the awareness to, introspect and see this is what I was going through and this is what I'm going through now. But some people don't even know it's a thing. They don't know that they're actually going through depression, and it's because of their period, and it's occasional. It's not depression that's coming from anything you're going through or how your life is. It's literally your brain chemistry being altered because of your period and your hormonal imbalance. So it's heavy. It is a lot. You asked me about, are women in this situation volatile? Like, should we be scared about them bombing? Men bomb things without having periods, right?
That's a very good twist.
Women bring solutions even when they're dying of cramps. Your mother still took care of the whole family when she was on her period and she was suffering, but no one ever saw her, you know, crying and talk about pain or anything. And she still made sure everyone went to school, everyone ate, everyone was well taken care of, including your dad. So it is a big issue. We need to have this conversation so that people feel open. Kama mimi venye nimesema, the thing that helps me largely is communication. Being able to tell everyone, hey, that's the first thing I say. Even when nikingia studio at a Citizen, I tell guys, I'm on my period. So please. And everyone supports me and treats me so much better.
Do you think that organizations should have a message board or a login where people who are on periods are actually known? You can track people on their periods and say, Robertta is on her periods, Kinyi is on her period, Nyambura is on her period. These are people to look out for and give more love.
So that we don't have to openly tell everyone, hey, I'm on my period.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what changes we can bring within organizations to make sure that women, people with wombs, people who go through their period are catered for during this time. But I definitely think something needs to be done to make sure we're fine. Because a lot of times, even in the office, you'll find Sengina, you're in pain, sana, and you can't even ask for leave. And if you ask for leave, it's taken as sick leave. Like, okay, ndamaliza sick leave zangu za mwaka kwa periods. Do periods si kitu naweza control? Periods inakuja every month, whether I want them or not. And they're very different. This
do you think women should be given a day, like, for example, an afternoon off?
Definitely.
To just go sleep?
Definitely. Definitely. Because I promise, I keep saying this, but I promise if you haven't gone through it, you really don't understand even me as someone who goes through periods, I feel like I downplay it because I still show up. I show up with a smile. I show up with my face looking good, makeup, dressed really well, smelling really nice. But internally, I'm dying. Mm-hmm. I'm dying and I just want to be at home on the floor, sleeping, crying, but I still show up. So yeah, it is heavy, and I
wonder if men were the ones having periods, how the world would be treating them.
Oh my goodness, so many things.
Give me a scenario of if men were supposed to be having periods, how will be treated.
First of all, it would be taken really seriously, like you said, in the workplace. There probably would be like a few days off the month for them to relax. Advertising even towards period stuff would be different. It would show the truth. Ushaona adverts za kama always. Zinaonyeshanga mademo akifanya masama. Wana ruka na wana dance na wanaimba na kuna rainbows na butterflies. That's not what periods are like.
Why do you think they do that?
Because I think...
Are they cheapening it? Are they downplaying it?
Yes, they're trying to make it look like it's a good time for women. And you see, for people who don't get it, when they see these adverts, they feel like it's a time where women are going through bliss and good feelings and happiness. The truth is we are really dying. It's hard and it's painful and it's suffering. I'm sure even the way advertisements would be, put out would be different. The education on periods would be very different. Very different. Like, it would be available. I feel like it would be easily available. And also ingekuwa emphasized. Easy conversations ingekuwa easier to have because they'd be incorporated in movies. How many times do you see in movies a woman saying, I'm on my period, let me go buy a pad? Do you ever see it anywhere?
By the way, I don't see.
You'll never.
Why?
Because it's taken as a secret. It's this secretive thing where we're not supposed to talk about periods openly. Even now, if we go to the supermarket and we buy a bunch of stuff plus pads, watanifunikia pads na gazeti.
Really?
Yes.
Up to today?
Wanafunika na gazeti, ndo waifiche waisunde. One of my
South Africans are very mad at you, by the way, so that
really?
You know. Yeah.
What are they saying?
They're saying, why does Robertta always go back to that language we don't understand?
Oh my God. I don't know if we can put subtitles.
But South Africans are hypocrites, you know.
Because they do the same thing.
Yes.
They do the same thing.
They're worse at it. And I don't know which language they're always going back to. I don't know whether it's Zulu, I don't know. Because all South Africans sort of just have one language that they usually go back to.
They do it even in tweets.
Yeah.
Even in writing. So I'm sorry, guys. Where I was born and where I grew up, that's how we speak. We speak English with Sheng, and we mix it up. So
Why did you know you were Sheng though? Because your Sheng is very good. I'm very bad in Swahili, by the way.
I know you don't speak Swahili. Na wewe ni Mkenya hapa. My Sheng is from Komarok, Jagero.
Oh, Komarok. That's where you lived?
That's where I was born.
Komarok.
That's not where I was born, but that's where I've lived most of my life. Ichai yangu ni tamu. Some nice milk tea.
Just don't get drunk on set.
So, a lot of information natry kupasa ni tusifanye hii mambo ya periodic ni kama it's not a big deal, because it really is a big deal. The conversation should be easy to have so that it's not weird, it's not something we're hiding. One of my personal rebellious ways of showing rebellion is I don't hide my pads. I don't cover them. Even if I'm in the office and my pad is in my bag. You know, you'll never see a woman holding a pad. Have you ever seen a woman holding a pad?
No.
Or a tampon?
No.
Think about it.
No.
You'll never
see.
You'll never. But she'll be on a period and she'll go and change her pad and you'll never
know.
Miss Ifichangi, I said I'm not hiding it anymore. If I take it from my bag, I'll carry it like that and I'll walk to the toilet while I'm holding it. I'm not putting it inside my trousers, in my pocket, in my clothes. Why? It's life. All of us are going
But
to
I also feel like, Roberta, you're different. You're just too open.
And
do you think you're too open?
I think my mom said that. My mom gave me a call after that video for dating older men. She said, you talk too much.
Yeah.
You're always telling people your things. But it is through sharing, like you said before we started recording, experience beats anything else. When I tell you something I've done myself, first of all, it removes that pedestal you've put me on. You're thinking, I don't go through some experiences or I'm not a certain type of way. But if you can see, you can relate with me. We do the same things. There's no difference between you and, you who's watching me and me who's seated here. The difference is maybe our life experiences, but we're all human beings at the end of the day. So the reason I'm open, I don't think I do it too much. I think I just do it the normal amount of talking that we should. It's because in the African setting, a lot of communication, a lot of discussions are very taboo. I'm trying to change that because I've realized tunaangalia tu side ya ukinyamaza tuna keep peace. Lakini hatuangalii side ya tukinyamaza hakuna education. Hakuna education. Whether niwaambie venye nilidinya 60-year-old man or not, people are doing it. People are still doing it. Younger girls than me. Me, I'm pushing 30. Women who are 22, women who are 20, 19, they're doing it. So where are they going to hear these stories from? Where are they going to be told the truth about, this is what that man wants from you, and this is what you should get from? Where are they going to hear these conversations from? No one is telling them. There's no way. Women are just on Instagram posting, their nice trips to Dubai and their nice cars. And I'm not saying all women who have nice things are getting them from men. But I'm saying we see them. But nobody is telling you the truth, Jagero. For me to afford my Porsche, I did this. Wanasemanga manzeni God. Manzeni God. God ame pull through. They don't tell you the truth. I have to speak about the truth so that first of all, you stop comparing yourself to me and you're able to make your own decisions. I'm learning from my own mistakes and I'm growing. And having these conversations, mbona periods in 2024 is a secret. Why? Why is it a secret? It's something you go through. It's something all the women go through. It's something you'll have to discuss with your husband. It's something you have to prepare to discuss with your daughter. Why is it a secret? If nobody's talking about it, where are you going to get the information?
Tell me about the pads. I hear that they are not very good, especially the ones that they ship here to Africa. Zina washa.
Yes.
Zina leak.
To be honest, I haven't used pads from anywhere else in the world. I've only used the ones in Kenya. And for the longest time, I used to think it was normal. I used to think iyo feeling ya kuchomeka na kuitch na I used to think it's normal because that's what I'm used to. You know, you wear a pad, you use it for a bit, like an hour or two, it starts to burn you. But if you don't have anything better than that, you've never experienced, you know, something better for you. So for the longest time, I used to think it was normal.
Yeah, there are... The first time I realized that we have been given very raw deal as Africans is the first time that I went to South Africa some few years ago and got Nivea.
The lotion?
Yes, and I used it. It was world apart. It was so different. It was, I don't know what the feeling is called, but it just slapped differently. It was really, really good. It was thicker.
Lasts longer.
Yes, and oily. You know, something that has got more oil.
Yetu ye ni maji, sindio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to America and got another Nivea, and it was completely different. It looked like the one, and it felt like the one in South Africa. Okay? If you get a HP that is shipped to Africa, that thing breaks like pepper. Like it is so bad. Like HP computers that we buy in Dubai and comes to Africa. They're really, really bad. If you buy an ex-UK HP down River Road, you see the difference. It is heavier, the hinges are sturdier, it's just good.
So it's in everything.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. There are phones that they make specifically for Africa.
That's so bad. These people wanatuona matako yao kusema ukweli. Because how would you gamble with someone's life?
Yeah.
Someone's fuck electronics, but like periods.
You can imagine.
As in, the vagina is so delicate.
And I think there is a time there was a problem with Always, I think. Yes. It was on Twitter.
We had issues with you know, we communicate that this is how we feel. Because sisi wote universally tumetumia Always na tunajua tumeanza ku tell the difference. Because when you use something, and now when they started introducing pads like Malt, kuna gani ingine? Hiyo ingine, kuna ingine ilikuwa poa lakini saizi imeanza kukua mbaya. Pia sitaki kuwataja juu niliona iko linked to familia Kasongo. Unajua Kasongo?
Kasongo mbona wewe? Yule jamaa mwenye wana draw na black ink.
Sitaki kusema jina yake ni abduct you.
By the way, I went to Uganda and they were talking about all the petrol stations are there. There is a petrol station that has popped up in Uganda that's called Starbucks. It's everywhere. It's like Ruby's in Kenya. Yeah, nasikia ni ya Kasongo. Wanaongea tu wanasema kila mtu aliniambia ni ya Kasongo. So mbona wewe?
Hata yeye na bibi yake wako na brand flani ya pads. I used to use them but now I can't because I've started feeling the burn as well. So it's
what
exactly
is burning people in
Sijui kama ni materials they use that are subpar or like they're not doing testing or like when it mixes with blood. Unajua pad inakuanga na coagulants, I think.
Oh, really?
Kufanya bloody.
Oh, there's a chemical in it.
There's something inside it that makes the blood wet.
For me, I thought it was just a lot of mattress that holds.
Kuna kitu inakwanga gel flani or something in processing.
I think that's what
makes the blood.
I think hiyo ndo inawasha basi.
So I think maybe ikimix na blood in a cause your chemical reaction, and it's so bad because you burn. It's like when a baby wears a nappy. You burn.
Napi kwa hiyo napi.
Yes, you burn. Unachomeka na unawashwa ukweli unakuwa dina marks na rashes. And it's really bad.
Really?
And people who can't afford pads, this is what they're going through.
What do you mean?
Because size pads, mimi nikigrow up, pads ilikuwa 58 bob. Zilikuwa 60 bob. Na hiyo si kitambo. Hiyo si kitambo sana hata nikiwa uni.
Sasa hii pads ni pesa ngapi?
200, 300.
Moja?
How will a normal? Yes, and sometimes you use 2 packets. Sometimes you use 2 packets.
So that is almost 1,000.
Imagine if you're a family of girls and you guys cannot afford. You have like 4 girls in the home. All of you go through your period every month.
That is why Muyu was telling me that raising girls is very expensive.
It is. Alafu unapata mtu broke anataka kukuambia mkateseke na yeye pipeline. Kwa hizo manyumba.
Wait, what do you like?
Kuoe. Ati I want to marry you. Watu wa pipeline. Unapanda na mitungi za maji kwa 17th floor. Na mtu anakudishi kila siku. Hata unachoka na saizo unapanua miguu. Endelea tu shida. Acha sisi tuendelee kulia kwa Range Rover. Mimi naambianga mademu kweli. Naambianga tu kweli. We imagine UMC alafu pads mnateseka.
Amwezi nunua pads.
Hizi ni real issues. Mnasema Robertta is a gold digger. Niliona mama mwingine akisema wacha ni copy. Gold digging niliacha high school. Sasa niko platinum sasa.
Platinum digging?
Yes. Niko huko kabisa huko juu. Gold sasa nishaachana nayo. Niko huko juu kabisa. Period is a real issue. So please, let's not downplay and, make comments such as ananyesha. Okay, ananyesha.
If somebody is not able to afford, because I've had people, sometimes people can ask even for 50 bob. If somebody can ask you for 50 bob, it means that they cannot afford pads.
Exactly.
What happens when somebody is not able to really afford pads?
They use in my DMs, I help a lot of women because I have a way that I'm able to access free pads. Personally, I don't even buy my own pads because mi niko neza afford na sinunuangi. That should tell you something. It's not cheap. It's not, even me, I go for the free ones. It's not cheap, and that's because I have somewhere I can get them from. So I also help other women who do not have pads and are, looking for pads. Anytime they come to my DMs, I'm able to get pads for them. I don't know, I didn't want to announce it like on a larger platform because sina yo capacity ya provide for, let's say, 300 women or 500 women yet. But it's something I hope to be able to achieve, in the near future. Are
there organizations that you can reach out to give you free pads if you are if you're not able to get
Yes,
pads?
Absolutely. Even the government of Kenya, they do provide.
By the way, they provide free condoms.
They do. Condoms and pads.
Really?
Do. Yes.
But I don't see condoms in washrooms.
I think maybe watu zichukua wanaenda kuuza. Unakumbuka kitambo zilikuwa kila mahali.
Pads?
Condoms.
Yes.
Zilikuwa.
There are some shows that still have them.
Sikuzi si kama kitambo. Kitambo zilikuwa more accessible.
Nimeziona but they don't put them in toilets, so where do you go get them?
Actually, I've never seen pads anywhere in any toilet.
But they should put them in toilets.
I've never seen free pads anywhere. Because pads are actually expensive. Like even the people who can afford are complaining that they're expensive. So sembuse wale watu wenye hawezi afford.
So it's about 1,000 every month.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money even for me. Kuweka tu budget ya pads tao. Na unajua periods ni kitu huwezi control. Ati saa ukisema, please nisaidie. Ukisema ati hautanunua, mwili yako haijali. Bado periods tu zitakuja. Watu tumia, najua wale wako in poverty wanakatanga sheets. Wanaweka alafu wanafua. Ama wanakata mattress. Wanakata mattress kiasi alafu wanaweka kwa panty.
Mattress inaporomoka.
Kuna watu wanaweka blanketi, wanaikata into strips because blanketi is thick na heavy. But you see on these days you can't go anywhere. You can't really leave the house. Some people do free bleeding.
What is free bleeding?
Free bleeding is when you just sit on the toilet and you bleed. Or you just kaa bila pads. Unakaa tu kwa nyumba lakini unaacha tu itoke.
But you cannot push them like pooping. So how do you?
Okay, you can. If you do, it can toka.
Hapana.
It can.
Haitoki.
It can.
It can.
Yes. But si ati saa itazimaliza. Si unatoa tu ile
kwa
hapo kwa sisi.
The is the contraction and the relaxation of the anal whatever. Which one? What contracts in this case?
You have muscles in your vagina as well. Like they can contract and expand.
Those zile zimekuja chini.
Oh, yenye ishakuja. Si ati period ati ukifanya itatoka more. Kama iko tu kwa system ilikuwa inachili. Things as simple as coughing. Ukifanya utasikia ikitoka. Hata ukisimama hivi utasikia ikitoka. You feel it coming out.
How do you feel it?
You feel it's like having hot blood in I don't know how to explain. It's like having hot blood between your legs, literally. And you can feel it coming out. Yeah. So be nice to women. Imagine this, like, other than just us thinking about other than us going through the hormones of, you're sad, you're depressed, you're angry, you're irritable, you're very hungry, everything smells bad. you don't want to look at some things, all these hormones and moodiness. And then now you have the anxiety of, will I mess myself? There's times I've woken up in my sheets covered in blood in my home. You know, even during that time, you think you can't go for a sleepover anywhere. You can't wear white. You can't sit on a cushioned seat. You can't stand where for too long. You can't cough. You can't laugh loudly. You can't... There's so many things you cannot do. But kwa advertisement wanaoneshanga tukifanya sama. So mi sijui hizo ni periods gani hizo. It's really important that we acknowledge that period poverty is a real thing. You know, people being unable to afford the necessities for their period. And blood is blood. It just smells like blood. It smells like blood. You know what blood smells like. If you stay with it too long, it smells like a dead body. Like blood. It just smells like blood.
But the one that comes out is fresh?
It is fresh.
Really?
It's fresh blood. But then it's just still blood. You know? And sengine, like I said, nizo blood clots zinatoka ikika nyama. Kama nyama. Kama liver. La liver.
My
That's
God.
what it looks like. I hope sijakuruinia liver for you. You see how wet raw liver looks like?
I no longer eat liver.
Oh, okay.
Because it has got... Niliambiwa nisikule liver. It's got so many purines.
Okay. But that's what it looks like and that's what it feels like. So it's painful, it's hard on the mind, it's hard on the emotions, it's hard on the finances because nobody ever comes and tells you, Bobbie, can I buy for you pads? Even the people who love you, they'll buy you flowers and gifts and things, but nobody ever says, you know, this month, can I just buy you pads? Pads are expensive. And getting good pads especially. Because saizi umeona hizo vitu zina infiltrate market. Vitu zinatuchoma. It's hard. It's hard. Showing up at work, sitting in the office. Sometimes I'll come and you'll see I'm quiet, I'm not talking too much, you know. People start, you know, telling you about how Roberta leo umenyamaza, not many people, when you umesema, not many people are as open as I am. So even them being able to start explaining to you, I'm like this because this is what I'm going through. It's such a huge task. So I think we should just create a community for each other where people who go through periods are also treated like human beings who matter. We should stop making it feel like it's nika tuko na shida na ni secret ni kitu hatufai kudiscuss. That's not fair.
So we end the podcast?
Yeah. Is there anything we've not talked about, period? So, when it comes to PMDD especially, and things that have to do with hormones and, you know, things that our bodies go through, it's important that we educate ourselves a lot so that we're able to understand better, treat people better. And I say this as someone who experienced PMDD for the first time. It happened to me last month. And before that, I can say I had never ever thought of giving it the seriousness it deserves. I never even thought it was a real thing because I just used to hear and, you know, until it happened to me. And I understood during that time I needed a lot of grace, a lot of kindness, a lot of understanding. Most of my clients were able to say, you know what, I get it. I understand. Let's, you know, talk next week. All my meetings I pushed. I even cancelled recording with you. And I didn't tell you the truth that I was depressed and dying. But I just told you, you know, I can't, I'm busy or something. There's a lot of shame even that comes with communicating what you're going through, especially when you're depressed. It's not an easy conversation to have. And that's why I'm here. That's why Robertta exists. Because if we can talk about it openly, we create space for people to understand, especially, like we said, employers. If your employer is able to understand this is what you go through during your period, they won't just linger and, you know, downplay it and make it look like it's nothing. And I said I have privilege because right now I work for myself. So I'm in a space where I'm able to say, Jagero skuji, Paul skuji this week. And we're able to reach an understanding. But what happens to that person who they're depending on this job? They're not going to eat if they don't show up at work. They don't have a boss who has education or information on what is happening. Wewe mwenyewe haujui ufanye nini. Juu depression si kitu. Watu husema talk to someone. Hizo vitu zinasaidia, lakini when it's depression that is beyond anything you can do for yourself in the moment, it's very difficult. So I urge everyone, pick a book. Wacheni kumekizi comments za ananyesha achana na yeye ama madem on their periods men literally bomb cities and create and do genocide without having periods. Stop locking us out of opportunities. Stop locking us out of situations. And something that really helps is having a very supportive system. Make sure you date men who understand you. Make sure you are in situations where you understood. Like I asked you that question I had told you, sorry, you getting this information is helping you have this discussion with your daughter. Because when you start talking to her about periods, you're teaching her that it's not just a girl thing. It's something you have to talk to men about as well. And her seeing that daddy understands and daddy gets it, it makes her choose better men, because she's never going to be in a situation with a man who makes her feel like her having a period is her being crazy. Or her emotions and her hormonal imbalances are, her being crazy, because that's how we get treated all the time. We get locked out of opportunities. Unaweza hata kosa kupewa promotion kwa sababu unanyesha, kwa sababu ukinyesha unakuanga erratic. It's not fair. Let's have this discussion so that we're able to. And Jagero, have you been researching on how to have these conversations with your daughter? Do you feel like you're ready and adequate?
No, I'm not ready.
What are you waiting for?
I need to learn more. That's why I've been listening to this podcast and learning more about it.
Do you think the things I've said have helped?
Yeah, they have a lot, a whole lot. Like I always say, most men do not hear these things intimately. And human beings generally are they don't want to listen to the things they hate. You get? So if somebody's a lesbian, they don't want to listen to you. If you're gay, they don't want to listen to you. What they're seeing is a dick in an anus. That's what we see. They don't want to hear the human story around whether you are like a lot of like this past 2 days we have been putting a lot of content about trans and lesbianism online. And a lot of people are saying that we need to bring mature conversations that uplift. You see, but I'm not a church. I do not preach the gospel like Paul preached it.
Yeah.
I believe in the gospel, but I'm a human being and I want to understand things around me. And so some people will be like, mbona mnaongea mambo ya damu kwa podcast?
Yes.
Somebody
and that's what they do. That's what they say.
It's very like Mimi. I started dialogues with Jagero to talk about the things that matter to me. But somebody somewhere is saying that the things that interest them. Na hajaniambia ni nini inawafurahisha. Hey, me I don't know
You're just doing your thing.
Hey, and suddenly they have realized that we are together in this issue. And there are particular things that we are supposed to be speaking about.
Yes.
Some people even tell us that we shouldn't be drinking water, we should be drinking something else. Motherfucker has not bought anything for this podcast.
They don't even send us the money to buy it.
Yeah, so I think that for me, I love conversations. But the way, what I wanted to say is, since I started having dialogues with Jagero, I've been hearing a lot of things. Especially things that pertains to women. Some people were saying that Jagero is always there. He's always listening, not judging.
We listen, but we don't judge. Yeah.
I think he was saying that. I want to listen, for sure. I really, really want to listen to anybody who has the weirdest of stories, the weirdest of beliefs, the weirdest of opinions. When you hear an opinion of somebody, you actually know what is going on in the world.
Yes.
If you don't hear a woman's perspective of periods, where are you going to hear it from? If you don't hear from a lesbian, how are you going to understand it? And if you're a Christian, how are you going to preach to somebody? You can't just say the Bible says this. Yes. Every day you want to preach to the Bible says this. But are you able to understand that person so that even when you're going to preach to him, you already have knowledge of what lesbianism is?
Yes.
Yes. So I think it's about learning. It's about knowing. I've known so much about women in a dialogue with Jagero, and I think women have made about 80% or more of the guests that I've had. You know, men are always yapping online, but they don't even want to come and speak about anything. Like if you speak to a man, they don't want to come. They just want to go there and talk in the comments, or
and be angry at the people who are having
yes, or WhatsApp you and tell you, don't say I'm the one who said this, and you're looking at what they have said and like, what the fuck? What have you said that shouldn't be said anywhere?
Thank you for giving women a space to be able to be heard, because it's really important. There's not a lot of men who, feel like a woman's experiences are important. A lot of the things we go through, because I think we wear it well and we handle it well, nobody ever society thinks the women are the ones who are really cared for, but it's because we care about ourselves. No one is coming to save us women and say, let me take care of you like this, or let me do this for you. So it's upon us to have open conversations so that everyone can learn and everyone can know. And thank you so much for sitting with us throughout the hour to listen to our talk about, periods, period sex, period, post-menstrual syndrome, PMS, PMDD. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and follow us everywhere, Dialogues with Jagero. Talk to us, let's have a conversation. I want to hear more about PMDD. Have you experienced it? Is it something you felt? Is it something you've gone through in your life? How do you handle it? How do you tell people about it? Where did you get the help? Share with us so that we're able to have, create a community where having these conversations is a bit easier. We do read your comments and we see everything you say about us. So please keep it respectful. Keep it respectful, but it's okay. I hear you. Thank you for even watching, liking, sharing, and we see you. Thank you so much for watching.
One of these days we should be able to read their comments. Maybe in the next episode we can read a few of their comments. All right?
And respond actively.
Yeah.